welcome to today's live session. My name is Ilo Mwanya Chiamaka. You can call me Amaka. All right. We're just waiting for everyone to join in. Please tell us where you are joining from, your name, and where you are joining us from. Please just tell us your name and where you are joining us from. And we are so excited to have a guest on the show who is a speech therapist and somebody who is making a great impact to the society. And I mean, we cannot wait to have her, you guys. We cannot wait to have her on the show. Please tell us your name and tell us where you are joining us from. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. 1 second. Okay, so hello everyone. Hi, Enjoli.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing well. It's so nice to finally meet you online, of course. You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. You look so beautiful.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. What is the time over there? In the States,
So
right?
yes, so I'm in Texas.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's 1 o'clock our time in the afternoon.
Oh my goodness. It's night already. Everywhere is dark. As I can see, it's 7 p.m. here in Nigeria. Wow. How are you doing? How's your Sunday going?
It's going good. This is the start of my Sunday, so I think that this is going to be a great Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, I've been looking forward to meeting you. I know we've been like talking like in the DMs. Um,
Yes.
so everybody that's tuning in on live, this is our first time. Like,
Yeah. It absolutely is. And I'm so glad. I'm happy to actually meet you online. I keep saying I wouldn't say in person, but it's online. It's online. It's online. Okay, so let us start with you giving us a brief introduction of you, what you do,
mhm.
and your experience as a speech therapist.
Okay, perfect. So, my name is Enjoli Richardson, and I am a PhD student,
Yeah.
a SLP, so a speech therapist. Um, and I also want to disclose that I am not a person who stutters, because I think that's very important to our conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, but but yeah, you know, just a little bit of background. So, because you asked about being a speech therapist, so
Yeah.
just to kind of like give everybody and just you too, like we just talking.
Let's go.
Um, so yeah, when I was training to be a speech therapist. So I'm gonna give background to how I got here, just so
Okay.
that we have context, and then knowing, what we're gonna be talking about today. So,
Let's go.
yeah, so I trained to be a speech therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And during my training in the States, and specifically for my experience, we only took one stuttering course, a part of our training. And so within that stuttering course, my professor at the time
Yeah.
had said, only 1% of the population stutters, so you're not going to see that many people who
People.
stutter on your caseload.
Wow, he said that. Oof.
Hmm.
Oh, oh
And
boy.
so, you know, again, a student, still learning, and they're like, okay, this is just a part of our training. 1% of the population stutters, we're not going to see that many people who stutter.
People.
So they're trying to kind of like let us know. But I feel like there were like some subliminal messages that like, this is important, but it's not important because it's only
Oh
this
my God.
small of a
Oh
population
my
that
God.
stutters. So, which I quickly had a different experience.
Right.
So, after I graduated, um, and actually going into and started practicing, I was a secondary school speech therapist. And so I worked at the middle and high school. I say this
Yeah.
story and I tell this story all the time because this was really the start of me figuring out. It was like a seed that I didn't know that was planted that brought me to where and what I'm studying now. So,
Mhm.
um, when I got into the secondary school, I had 10 children who stuttered on my caseload.
Ooh. Ooh.
10
In the school.
in the school on my caseload as a speech therapist.
Wow.
And not only that I had 10, 6 of them were little girls who stuttered. Now, the reason why I highlight that is because also within our
Oh my
training,
goodness.
and what we know is that there's a 4-to-1 ratio from male to female who stutter.
Female. Yes.
Well,
Yes.
me
Yes.
learning that, seeing it in the textbooks, but then being like in the front of me, actually seeing was not matching up. I was like, how? How? How is that? And
Wow.
so, yeah, I had 6 brown girls, black and brown girls on my caseload who stuttered. And that was the
Wow.
seed that I didn't know at the time, that was planted early on. And, not even just thinking about the race, but just like gender, like having 6 girls on my caseload, it just blew my mind.
That's
So,
a lot of people
y-
in one school. Oof, that's a lot of
yes,
people.
yes.
That's a lot of
And
people.
so, I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't even think about it, like that many students who started in that one school. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so I knew I wanted to get my PhD. I knew early on that I knew that I wanted to get a PhD, but I didn't know
Uh-huh.
what. And that was the moment that I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Not only because I had 10 students on my caseload who stuttered, but
Uh-huh.
because I was feeling so convicted that the the treatment, the strategies, the training that I had was not
Techniques. Oh, what? Uh-huh.
was not working. Um,
Applicable. Yes.
it was not, yes, it wasn't applicable, but also I had these parents asking me, "Can you please help? How can we help?" And just being in conversation constantly. And it really, I really, I would go
Wow.
home and I would feel defeated. I would feel defeated every day. Um,
Because you wouldn't know what to do to help the children, right?
absolutely,
Oh my
absolutely.
goodness.
So yeah, that was, like I said, that was the start. Um, that led me to, figuring out this is what I want to do as far as I getting a PhD. And I was like, yes, I'm going to get a PhD in stuttering. Um,
Wow,
yeah.
amazing.
And since then, it has been a journey of learning, a journey of unlearning a lot of things, and relearning things the right way. And I really think that that is important. A lot of tears.
A lot of patience
I,
too, because it requires a ton of patience, I must add.
yes, a ton of patience, but also, like I said, just realizing um, the things that I was trained in and what I was doing, and realizing the harm that I was causing. Um,
The harm. Can you talk
yes.
more
So
about that, please?
yes. And that, I think that's like a great segue. So I'm here at UT Austin,
Let's
and
go.
I'm getting my PhD under the mentorship of Dr. Courtney Bird, here at the Arthur and Blank Center for Stuttering Education and Research. So just the privilege of only seeing, interacting with individuals from all over the world who stutter.
Uh-huh.
And um, not only that, but you know, my coursework, the training that I'm getting in my coursework, through my
Hmm.
PhD also centers critical disability studies. And so just
Okay.
a little bit about that is the harm that society does with individuals with visible and invisible disabilities.
Disabilities. Uh-huh.
And so that's, being at the part where I'm at now and reflecting in my coursework, engaging with that scholarship and realizing, you know, that as speech therapists, we only had what we had at that time. The teachings and the training of, we're going to work with fluency, we're going to try to reduce or get rid of the stutter as much as we can. But then
Yeah.
going through my training and then the experiences that I'm experiencing now, and realizing that that is actually causing more harm than
Harm
the actual experience of
of
stuttering.
stuttering. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
adding to that adverse, or just adding to the, like I said, the harm of that. And so, yeah, it was a lot. It was
Wow.
it was a lot of tears in my class. It's
Oh
still
my
still to this day,
oh my god.
because as speech therapists, we're a part of a helping profession, right, in healthcare. And you know, and then having to forgive myself again, not
For
knowing what I
all
was
that,
doing.
yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
having to forgive myself, but also, just being thankful for the new knowing that I know now, that informs, not only what we do here at the Blank Center, but also my research, that we do. So I said a whole lot.
Wow.
I hope that,
Oh goodness, that is amazing. I'm glad that you were okay. So let's start with this. So as you know, I am somebody who has a stutter, and to the people joining us, I have a stutter. So pardon me when you see my face moving in some kind of way, right? And I'm gonna try and talk as much as I can because it's very difficult to do this, but I'm glad I'm able to. right? So what are the general misconceptions people have regarding stuttering?
So first off the bat, I also want to say this too. Um, I'm not an expert at all. Um, I am studying stuttering. I'm immersed in the community, but I'm not an expert. I really think that the people that are true experts are the people that are this is their lived experience. So you being a woman who stutters, you are positioned in a place where you can educate far on a whole nother
Yeah,
level than I can. um, but like I said, I'm learning. And so but to answer your question, some of the misconceptions that we all hear here in the States, but also what we're learning globally. Like, this is a global thing.
absolutely.
That the stuttering myths are so universal and they do not discriminate color, culture, language, none of those things.
Absolutely.
Like, it does, those myths do not discriminate at all. Um,
Right, right.
but the one that's at the forefront of my mind is that stuttering is due to nervousness or anxiety.
That's a
Um,
contributing factor. Yes, that's true. That's very true. That's
and
very
that's a myth. For those that don't know, that is not the case. In fact, that people who stutter can be at their most relaxed state and
state.
still stutter.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh,
Um, and so what we learn, in these myths, they come from the place of people that are not people who stutter, but who just
experience. Exactly. Yes.
exactly. Um, you know, I just think about how, again, that whole nervousness and anxiety, right? I'm not a person who stutters. So, as a person that does not stutter, if I did not have the knowledge that I knew, um, people would say, "Oh, I've stuttered because I'm nervous," right? Because
Right.
they see or experience more repetitions, things like that. But after whatever they're doing or the presentation, it's always in the context of presentations.
Patient. Yes.
Hmm.
Oh,
Right? So think
I
about
relate with that.
context, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so think about context. It's always in the context of a presentation that also contributes to that myth that stuttering is due to nervousness. Well, there are people that stutter not that are not giving presentations, so it's out
Yes.
of that. And so it is the forcing of how, people who don't stutter conceptualize, well, this is what happens when this happens to me, so that means it causes or it is due to this, when that's
Cause
not
and
the case.
effect. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Wow.
that is the one that is like at the top of my head. That I always, when people ask that question, that is the first thing that I think about, because you can be 100% confident and have great communication skills and still stutter.
Stutter. And
Hmm.
that's exactly, how it applies to me. I'm a very confident lady. But
Hmm.
when I interact with people, they'll be like, oh, okay. It's as if they don't even know, what to do, because they can see me stutter, they hear me, and they're like, wow, so how then are you this confident? You know?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
I'm like, it doesn't stop me from doing whatever I want to do. Yes, it's
mhm,
there and it's very uncomfortable. Oh my God,
mhm,
I want to go and hide, but I
mhm,
can't.
mhm,
Right. So
mhm,
I totally understand your explanation on that misconception. So
mhm.
to the to your experience, right?
Mhm.
Do people have or choose different techniques to control the way they stutter? Do they
Um,
have, if they, yeah,
so your question is, do people have different techniques to control the way they stutter?
absolutely.
hmm
Hmm.
Um, the direct answer is yes. The
Okay.
impact, the impact of that is far more greater than that. Um, because stuttering is involuntary and it's variable. It
Yes.
changes over
Yes.
time.
Oh my goodness.
Um, Not only it changes over time, you know, you may be exhibiting more repetitions or blocks in this season or this day or this moment, and then maybe tomorrow at this same moment, it's totally different,
Different. Yes.
right?
Yes.
um but people do, they do use techniques to try to reduce the stutter, but again, the stuttering is there. Um, the stuttering is there. And
It's always
so
there, no matter
it's
what you
always
do.
there. It's always there. And
Yeah.
so there, yeah. So can you tell, like, like I said, you are a person who stutters. So do you like, how would you answer that
Girl, I have
question?
a lot of techniques that I use.
Mhm.
I'm gonna play one. Let me
Mhm.
increase the volume of this.
Mhm.
See this? This is called
Okay.
metronome. So I
Mhm.
use this. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I don't even care. But I
Mhm.
use this to help me talk. So when it goes I talk alongside it. And
Mhm.
yes, I do still stutter whenever it comes on, but it's not as intense
Mhm.
as it used to. When
Mhm.
I don't have anything on, right?
Mhm.
Another technique I use is I take a deep breath, but that
Mhm.
doesn't really help as much
Mhm.
as this.
Mhm.
So I must say this is like my ultimate baby.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
carry this everywhere I go.
Mhm.
So yes,
Mhm.
this is what I can say that
Mhm.
has really really helped me to
Mhm.
control the way I start. I'm seasoning it. Oh
Mhm.
my
Yeah. So was this something that you learned or someone told you to
Someone
like?
told me. My
Okay.
speech therapist told me, and since that day, I just started to use it, and that was how I was even able to start my this YouTube channel to help
Mhm.
me to talk more to people. So
Mhm.
I didn't know this out of the blue. Someone told me, and I'm glad
Mhm.
she did. So
Mhm.
yes, yes, someone really told me. So do you think stuttering happens to black people more than white people?
Um, so to answer that question, we are looking at the stuttering experience and looking at it at those intersections of race and
Yes.
gender because we don't have the data um, to actually say or prove that. Um, and that goes again, to, are all groups within the stuttering community represented, and the answer is no. So, we just need more representation in being able to figure that out. But what I can say is that stuttering again is seen across, it does not discriminate, right?
No, no, it
It
goes
does not
all
discriminate.
around, and anybody can have it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, anybody can have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just the community that I'm in, I am meeting a lot more people of color who stutter.
A lot
Um,
more.
hmm
Wow.
And, you know, and honestly, it's by the grace of God and social media. Like, you reached out. That's how I was able to know and meet you, was on Instagram.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but because I'm meeting so many wonderful people of color who stutter, and just people of color, and just people who stutter all over, but specifically people of color who stutter, I'm like, yo, this is not our textbooks, it's not in our literature, it is not
You need to
here.
experience it live with these people. Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my
Again,
goodness.
and going back to, like I said, when the mixed messages, right? What I was learning in my training is that, you're not gonna see that many people who stutter. And then there's not that many women who stutter,
Oh my
or
goodness.
people who identify as women who stutter, that's gonna come on
Right.
your case. So, and
Right.
then but what I was seeing was totally different. Again, what I'm seeing is a lot more people of color. I don't know if it's the algorithm. I don't know what it is.
Ah,
Um
it could be the
However,
algorithm.
I'm thankful
Yeah.
for it, because I'm seeing it. I'm like, we need to get connected. Hey, do you know this person? Because what I do hear a lot of times, when I'm meeting these beautiful people from all over the world,
Yeah.
um, is that they feel like they're the only one, or they are the only one. And so, how do we bridge that gap so that that you're not the only one, and that you have community around you to support you in that?
Right.
Um, and so we've been doing some things here, and ensuring that there's many organizations in the stuttering community, but specifically centering those with marginalized identities. That is what um, the focus and the efforts are in right now.
Wow. And how how has that experience been with the people that have these marginalized identities?
hmm
Yeah.
Um, One, you realize the power of community.
So it
The
helps to
power
heal.
of community is unmatched.
Uh-huh.
And when I say that, again, if you go majority of your life thinking that you're the only one, um, feeling the only one, and seeing that you are the only one in the context and where you are and what you're doing,
Absolutely. Yes.
the impacts that it does to you psychologically. But when you are in community with other people, that you can be your full self, and you can show up, because there's another person that look like you, that may not have the same experience but similar experiences with you. There's so much healing in that. There's so much restoration in that.
Wow.
And just being connected with other people.
Right. Right.
Um, and so I want to, because we say marginalize, and so, and having marginalized identities. And so, marginalized identity, the definition at its core is treating someone or group of people as if they do not belong
Differently.
or are
Yes.
insignificant.
Yes. Yes.
And so, you know, I can't wait for a world where that's reduced, or that's non-existent, where there is no marginalization, um, because people have organized and we have community.
They do. They
Yeah.
do. Everyone has theirs, and I oh my goodness, I actually thought I used to think I was alone in this until I came across this whole community on Instagram. I'm like,
Mhm.
whoa, look at all these people are just like me. I need to talk to, I need to speak, I need to chat with them. And I just
Mhm.
started, you know, reaching out to them one after the other. And it's
Mhm.
amazing how they are so happy that, wow, someone just like them is also
Mhm.
reaching out
Mhm.
to them. And we have a comment.
Mhm.
I'm trying to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, but she or he said that he or she has been stuttering since he or she was a kid, and now, wow, and now he or she, sorry, I don't know if it's a he or she, is 50 years old and work in a hotel as a concierge. Wow, I wonder how that experience
Mhm.
has been, because I'm just imagining myself, you know, when I'm older, and
Mhm.
I have this story. I don't even know. But you're 50. Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
First of all, it's amazing that you are 50 and you're still strong.
Mhm.
And then sometimes I still stutter, especially when I'm dealing with a difficult guest on the phone. Oh, that can be the
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
That can be the
Yeah.
experience. But do you think that your research center, um they actually cover the fundamentals of
Mhm.
stuttering, and how have they been able to like you have explained, what they taught you is quite different from what actually is. So
Mhm.
how are your how is your institution going to integrate what is and what ought to be? How are they going to integrate all of that
Mhm.
in your research? Yeah.
Um, so I want to acknowledge this comment first,
Yes,
and
please.
just thank you for, sharing that with us. Um, Another thing that came to mind as you were reading, um, and this goes into like the larger disability discourse, right?
Spectrum. Yeah.
We assume that disability um, is only negative,
Right.
and
Right.
and
Right.
we have to be careful. We have to be careful because disability does not mean lack of quality of life.
Quality. Mm-hmm.
There are people living with disabilities, multiple disabilities, visible and invisible, that have access and live a rich and full life. Right
Right.
now, does it come with, you know, I can't be on this
Challenges.
call. Yeah, challenges, but then also I can't be on this call without saying that there's systems of oppression that are also operating, that,
Of course.
that that those with multiply marginalized identities are faced with each day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, but that does not rob us from ever experiencing a great life and a full life. And so I'm interested, I always want to hear the experience, but I'm also interested because a lot of our stuttering literature, and it's starting to shift now. Those that are advocates in the community, and our research is starting to change.
Yeah.
But it used to be so negative, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how does stuttering negatively impact your life? How hard is it? And so if you think about that, right? If
Right.
especially if you don't know not anything about stuttering, and you are, a person who stutters, And that's the message that you are
Exposed to. Yes.
only told, right? I can just visually see the chains going on to that person, thinking that they will always be limited in how they experience life, how they live life, who they interact with. And so
Right.
I I say all that to say, we're starting to see a shift, and there is a shift, especially, here. Um, going back and just like I said, there's people that are active in this community that are calling out what is happening.
Yeah.
Um, but here, what we do, and then just the training. Like I said, I'm just so privileged to be um, in a place where we do not focus on fluency at all.
Alone.
No
Oh, oh,
techniques. No,
oh.
no.
That's good. Okay.
Um, Not at all. There's no fluency techniques, there's no fluency shaping, modification. It's a new way. It is a new way. And it is freeing a lot of people from believing or thinking that to be their full selves has to come with accommodations or something that they have to change.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Um, and so, you know, like I said, I'm just so privileged to work with some amazing people here that believe that, and that's what they're doing, and really kind of changing the narrative for a lot of people.
Wow. So basically, your institution is not treating people that have a stutter as people that have a stutter. They're just people, just like everyone else,
Mhm.
right?
They are people who stutter that have a stutter, and that is a part
Yes.
of who they are. And
Yes.
because of that, um, you know, like I said, my mentor has been doing this work for decades, and I'm just privileged to be a part of it.
Right.
Being able to stutter openly, and just even a part of how you started and introduced yourself with self-disclosure, stating
Yes.
that you're a person who stutters, you
Yes.
know, in an unapologetic way. You did not apologize at
Yes.
all, right? And so that is empowering because
Thank
it's
you.
nothing to apologize for. But it also, again, lets the listener or the person that you're interacting with know, like, this is who I am. I'm okay with who I am. And this is how you
Absolutely.
love and you respect me.
Person. Yes. Yes.
And so yeah, so the focus here is more on communication
Mm-hmm.
that is separate, that does not involve fluency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can
Oh,
be
that's
you can
very
be an
good.
effective communicator and still be a person who
Who
stutters.
stutters, of course.
Mhm.
It's just going to take a little
Mhm.
extra for you to say whatever it is you want to say, and you have to inform the people that, oh, I have this, so they should please just allow you to
Mhm.
finish whatever it is you want to say, which
Mhm.
I totally understand. So we
Absolutely.
have okay, so I have issue pronouncing words that starts with S.
Mhm.
So Sasha wrote, I am a person who stutters from Trinidad and Tobago, and community has significantly helped me to feel empowered and know that I have a strong backing behind me. That's amazing. By the way, Enjoli, you are amazing. That's what she wrote. She's indeed
Aw.
amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. All right. So, guys,
Um,
if anyone has any other question to ask Enjoli
mhm,
before we allow her to go, please feel free to ask them in
mhm,
the comments, and we
mhm.
would greatly appreciate that. Um,
Wait, hold on. Wait. I want to go
go
back
on.
though
To
because this
acknowledge her comment.
no
I
to you
okay.
because even in that you said I have an issue saying my S's.
Yes. Yes.
Language matters. And so, how can we reframe that? How can we say, because if you're saying that you have an issue, especially with someone that does not know who stuttering is, and
Yeah.
that's the first time they're hearing that, they're going to think that it's a problem. So how can we
Oh,
reframe you saying, you know,
I have an
instead of
issue
saying, mm-hmm,
pronouncing.
mm-hmm.
Please. How? Tell me. I'm willing
I no,
to
no, no.
learn.
And let's work together on this. So, okay, so another way we can probably say is, um, instead of saying I have an issue, I tend to stutter on my S's. So I need a little bit more
Ah,
time. Or you can say, or you can offer up information. You can say, depending on what your stuttering type. So if you do repetitions or if it's a block or something, you can
yeah.
offer that information.
Okay.
Um, and just treating every interaction as if someone doesn't know, like it's an exchange, like I'm offering
Right.
this to you,
To
right?
you.
Rather than um, this is something bad and you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's an
I get
offering,
that. I get that. Oh, I get that
right?
100%. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
See, I
Language
actually wrote
matters.
it down on my pad because it's really helpful. Thank you so much. Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing. That's really amazing.
But you're amazing. You started out, you are leading this live and you started out and you came out the gate.
Girl, I don't know how this is happening, but it is happening, and I'm glad it is. But it's uncomfortable. But I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm happy I am doing this, whatever it is.
You doing it.
So
You doing
thank
it.
you. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any question you would like to ask me, if any?
Yes, I do. I do have a
Ooh, okay.
question. I do. So one of my questions, because this conversation has been a joy.
Mm.
Um, you are so beautiful. Like again, those that have just joined, this is our first time talking. So we've only been in DMs. Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
but what I want to ask you is what, or let me reframe this question.
Ooh, it's a good one.
um, what does joy feel like to you?
What does joy feel like to me?
Hmm.
Doing everything that I intend to do, talking
Hmm.
to people, how I love to. Let me rephrase that. I derive so much joy
Hmm.
talking to people,
Hmm.
advising people on the subjects I know. I love
Hmm.
helping people and I love
Hmm.
speaking. And it's quite ironic because I have this stutter, and so
Hmm.
for somebody who has this, originally don't like to talk to
Hmm.
people, but I'm quite the opposite of that. So
Hmm.
it gives me so much joy that I'm able to help people using my words.
Hmm.
So yes, this right now I am super happy that
Hmm.
I'm talking because
Hmm.
it helps me to be comfortable enough with my stutter rather than not doing anything, not saying anything, just hiding away with all my knowledge and all of that. So I'm happy that I am now happy that I'm able to come out consistently to talk. So this talking gives me so much joy. So much joy. You have no idea.
For those that are watching, look at her light. Look at her light. When I asked her that question and she started talking about talking and sharing with people, you just lit up. You just lit up. So keep doing that.
Oh
Keep
my.
pouring into yourself. Keep nurturing that joy, whatever that is for you.
Thank you.
Um, I so love. Thank you. That was a gift for me. Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness. Thank you so much, Enjoli. I mean, I really, I never expected that question, but I'm
Mhm,
so glad that you asked it
mhm.
because no one has ever asked me this question before. And for me to know exactly what it is, it means I am really doing well enough, you
Mhm.
know. So I am so happy that I'm grateful that you asked me this question.
Yes.
Really,
Yes.
thank you. And I'm tempted to ask you the same question, but do you want to answer it?
I do.
Okay, let's go.
What brings me joy? Having
Yeah.
these conversations, like a conversation. Um, being able to, just really be and like show up like who I am.
Show up.
Um,
Absolutely.
like I said, I get to meet so many beautiful people and I learn so much. I love what brings me joy is learning through laughter and community. Like I love to
Mm.
laugh and I
Hmm.
love to meet new people.
Right.
And so this conversation just gave me everything that I needed
My
today.
goodness. Oh my
Because
goodness.
let me tell you, yesterday, oh my goodness, I
What?
was because I don't know, I developed like a small cold, and I was just like, Lord, I have this talk that I've been looking forward to. Please come
Oh my
in,
goodness.
and I'm able to like literally, this is medicine for me, and I'm so
Oh
thankful
my
for you.
goodness. Oh, thank you so much. Wow, this warms my heart. You have no idea. Thank you. Wow,
This is
thank you.
medicine.
Well, everyone, I think we have just one person in the comment
Mhm.
on the live. So
Mhm.
please just help me to appreciate Enjoli for her wealth of knowledge on the stutter. Oh my God, on stuttering and marginalization. It was really insightful.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Enjoli.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. And thanks for accepting my invite. I never knew you were going to say yes. Let me just be honest with you. I never knew you were going to say, like, yes, let's go. So
Well, this
thank
was a
you.
good yes. This was a good yes. So I really appreciate you asking.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much, girl. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
All
and
right.
we can do
So
this again. We need to do this again.
we have to.
Mhm.
Yes, she's so amazing. I enjoy. Oh my goodness, Sasho, thank you so much. Yes, she's indeed very amazing. Now we should do this again. I agree.
Yes.
I agree with that. Thank you,
Shout out to Sashil, and I think it's Aaron. Aaron, if we're saying that right.
Erin. So yeah. Erin too. Thank you.
Yes. Thank
All right.
y'all.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It's almost 8 p.m. in Nigeria.
Well, have a good night.
All right. Thank you. All right. Take care, girl.
Bye.
Bye.